Hey, CP Biology. So today, where we would be doing a very fun microscope lab, for obvious reasons, we're going to do things a little differently this year for both in-person kids and Model B. So what I'm going to do is basically walk you through, like I normally would, what cells of different types look like under the microscope in the different phases of mitosis. The goal today is to be able to identify each of the 4 different phases of mitosis in two different types of microscope slides, plant and animal cells. And then you'll have a Google form with photos through a microscope of each of these phases, and you'll have to identify those phases. So to get started, let me show you around a little bit what these 2 kinds of slides that you'd be looking at under the microscope are. Basically, the 2 most common types of preserved microscope slides with mitosis showing are onion root tip cells and whitefish embryo cells, as weird as that is to be looking at whitefish embryos. And I think probably you can figure out why they use both onion root tip slides and whitefish embryo slides. And it's because that's where we see lots of mitosis, right? Like in the tip of a root, we're seeing lots of cell division because the root's having to grow, and growth is mitosis, right? And of course, an embryo, there's going to be tons of cell division there because the embryos are dividing like there's no tomorrow to turn into, a full-fledged critter as fast as they can. Anyway, starting with onion, the thing you need to know about onion root tip cells is that their chromosomes are big. So whereas in the slides that you drew pictures of, our chromosomes were nice and X-shaped and lined up very nicely down the middle, these chromosomes are so big they're almost like floppy. And so when they're in metaphase, they try to line up, but they're kind of hanging out the side. So metaphase, that phase where everything's lined up in the middle, is here. You're just looking for that seam down the middle. They're so big, these chromosomes, that they're kind of hanging out to the side. So you're not going to see a neat line. Prophase, I'm getting ahead of myself. Prophase with those big floppy chromosomes, what you're looking for is something that's still round, but not like interphase. Interphase cells, they're round and you don't see a lot of white space in there. So that's interphase and that's interphase and that's interphase. But when we see some white in there and we're starting to see almost like spaghetti noodles, that's prophase. That means the nucleus is going away and the chromosomes are starting to form. From prophase, of course, it goes to metaphase where they're lined up. Then anaphase, where, okay, they were like this, right? And they pull apart. And you can see that fairly clearly here. I'll show you a better one soon. And then, so if anaphase is like fingers pulled apart, telophase, they've bunched up into fists and they get much darker and smaller. That's telophase right there. Okay, so a couple more examples here. This is somewhere between prophase and metaphase. This is a prophase because they're still round, right? But you're seeing the little noodles and you're seeing white space in there. This is metaphase, where they've done their best to line up. I think I've got, okay, that's a perfect anaphase right there, where they pulled apart and you see the fingers and they haven't bunched up and become real dark yet. This is like way late telophase, but I'd want something a little better for telophase. Here's another set. They're exposed a little differently, but this is a nice prophase right here. Metaphase, again, fingers lined up. Anaphase, late anaphase. Telophase, a really good one. You can actually start to see that hairline crack right there forming where the new cell walls are starting to be, right? And this is a nice late telophase. And then by the time we're to here, it's really kind of more like back to interphase. So that's the onion. Moving on to the whitefish, which actually, maybe count yourself lucky, you don't have to find the whitefish ones on the microscope. They tend to be real kind of hazy and harder to see. But whitefish cells, if you see a nuclear membrane, if you see the membrane around them, it's not mitosis. That's an interphase cell that is not dividing. Prophase, you're starting to see that the chromatin kind of chunk up and get almost like somebody took a marker and made little dots on there. So that's a pretty good prophase. prophase then to metaphase. Metaphase with the fish, it's nice because the chromosomes are small, so you see that nice little seam down the middle. You can even see spindle fibers going on either end, anchored to the centrioles here and here. So that's a very good metaphase. Anaphase, you see daylight between them, right? You don't see the chromosomes real clearly anymore, but you can see that they've pulled apart. You see that gap in there? That means it's anaphase. And then telophase, you're looking for the thing I described very crassly as a butt-looking thing, and you can see the separated chromosomes there and there, right? So you want that crease in there. And even take something like this for telophase. Even though it's technically already sort of divided, you can still see spindle fibers going in between the two, and so that would count as telophase as well. So that is the basic idea here of the you're going to be seeing. So kind of look through that. Maybe watch this again if you need to, but then dive into the Google form that I've shared with you, and what you want to do on that one. You're not going to get credit for it unless you ace it. You got to get all 15 of them right. And so I have it set so that it will not only let you take it as many times as you want, but it will also send you your results and tell you which ones you missed. It's not going to show you the right answers, but it'll tell you which ones you missed. So give it a few tries until you hit that 15 out of 15, and then you're good, and you can get started on the sample essays. The mitosis practice form needs to be done before tomorrow's class, and then the sample essays are going to be due on Friday. Okay, and we have our test scheduled for Friday. Have a great day, guys, and I will see you tomorrow.